All right, today we're going to have our first experience with a new language. This new language is Python, which you can run either as a scripting language or as a compiled language. The difference there is a batch file is a script and processing is a compiled language. Does that distinction kind of make sense? So either there's some window that you have open where there's a run button and you type code, right? That's the compiler language. Or you edit it in text editor and then like double click the file to get it to run. You can do both of those things with Python. I don't care which one you're using. I'm going to run it in this repel.it because frankly it's convenient and I don't have to get Python installed on the computer that I'm working on. That kind of makes sense. Okay. So, first things first. It says, not sure what to do, run some examples. Let's check out an example. Let's see. Do these look like code that I've seen before? This one doesn't. I don't know what this server business is, but input, that looks like a thing I kind of recognize. There's some kind of function getting called, some nonsense. There's a oh yeah, so there's if statements, right? Returns, those are things I recognize. There's a print statement here. I recognize that thing. Let me start with that. So let me just get rid of this and see if I can guess some stuff. I bet if you type print and then type a thing like hi. Oops, that's not spelling hi. Never mind what that word almost spelled. If you hit run, you will see, syntax error. So what's up here is, this is actually, so, well, I said this is a compiler, it kind of is. But what this is doing is, this is the inside of your file, and then you're hitting run, and then that file is being run on this server over here, and you're seeing the output. So this is actually running as a script in the background here. And in the interface, it's telling me that it has a syntax error. It's missing a parenthesis. All right, well, I can't seem to find a way to change this. But over here, it says that there's a syntax error, missing parentheses in call to print. What's up with that?
That sounds like there's a different missing parentheses.
Yeah, it sounds like I should put in some parentheses, right? Okay. Cool. Seems like it's doing a thing. Yeah, so Python, as it turns out, doesn't need line end commands. Yeah, it is. It's like, dude, I'm not stupid. I know when the line ends. Like, why would you need a semicolon in there? Like, you know where the line ends in processing, too. It's just that processing has some syntax, right? So, Python doesn't have that same syntax. Python has slightly different syntax. Let me show you another difference between Python and processing. If I want to make a variable, like I is 10, and then I want to print said variable, maybe +1 or something.
Oh,
I get 11. Wait, that seems like it worked.
it's smart enough to know what 10 is.
Yeah, it's smart enough to be like, okay, I know 10 is an integer, right? So I is going to be an integer, and then I can do math to it. Let's see if there's any other weirdness. Like, in processing, if you do 1 divided by 3, you get weirdness, right? You guys remember that? You get like 0 out. And in here, if you take 10, which is an integer, and add 1 divided by 3, in processing, it would be like, dude, i's an integer, you can't stick a float and an integer together that way. Right? Processing doesn't care. Python doesn't care. Thank you. Yeah, and there's a 4 at the end, which is a little bizarre. It seems to round
The wrong way.
the wrong way.
Like, what happens if you do print hello times 3?
It doesn't even do a 7. What?
It rounds up. But
No,
not.
it didn't round that. It rounds middle.
Like this?
No, hello, the string hello. I don't know the answer.
Hello.
Like this?
Your math on strings.
Weird.
That's cool.
You guys see that? Python apparently knows how to multiply strings. Why? I don't know.
The way it is.
Sounds awesome.
Just the way it is.
What's times 1 half?
Here's another weird thing.
Hello times 8.5.
So if I set I as 10, and then later I set I as name, and then I tell it to print I,
Does it say 10 name?
my expectation would be that it would shout at me about, dude, I's an integer.
Oh, no.
That's a variable mismatch. Like, what are you doing? But it just very happily does it. So Python has what's called dynamic variable typing. The variables change type depending on what you try to put into them. It does not care. It won't yell at you, which means that there's some strangeness. It makes debugging a nightmare sometimes, because it will very happily let you reassign your variable that's supposed to be the number of things you have. It'll very happily let you reset that to one of your lines of instructions by accident, and it won't warn you. That said, it's super handy for doing math because I don't have to anticipate whether something's going to be an integer or a float or a long or a double
Or string.
or a string. Like, it could also be a string. So let me show off just a little bit of that here. First, let me figure out how to get a for loop working. There was a for loop in the examples, but I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to say for, and I'm going to say like I smaller than 10, and I maybe want to start my I at 0. Right? You guys with me on this? Let's see, and then what do I want to do? Oh yeah, I need some kind of like I++ in here. I'm just kind of guessing, right? At syntax that might or might not work. And then in here I want to do something like, I don't know, just print out what I'm at, I guess. Run? No. Damn it. How do I figure out?
It says where
Like-
the error is. So it's even on the arrow pointing.
Yeah, so it's got an arrow pointing at this less than. So maybe I can do this. I just go Google, let's see. I'm looking for loop, Python, and please note, you're using Python 3. Python 2 is still a relatively popular language. So if you're not a little careful, you'll get advice for Python 2 and it might not work. So Python 3. Oh look, Python flow controls. If for. What? That's confusing. Range? Oh, that seems like it's doing what I want, right? For I in range of number. Okay, let me go see if I can figure that out. So for I in range of, I wanted this to happen 10 times, right? Print I. Let's see, and maybe let's try like this. Yes? Note you don't need the I as 0, actually. Oh, let me put it back in there. I'll put it back. Oh, invalid syntax. What did I miss?
There was a colon.
Oh, there's a colon in there. So, right, because it's starting a loop, it needs a colon, I guess. I don't know. Like, I thought this was going to be a lot better. I thought I was going to get away from colons and semicolons altogether, but as it turns out, they're just in different spots. Crap. Welcome to learning a new language. Indentation error.
Oh, concerning. Oh, does it use indentation to determine what's in a for loop?
Yep. Remember, this thing doesn't require the curly braces, right?
Is
That normally.
Is that amazing or is it terrible? I can't tell.
It depends on your perspective. I tend to believe it's amazing because it makes you, it forces you to keep your code well formatted. Some people think it's terrible.
For the same reason.
For the same reason. Yeah.
No, Control T.
So if you tab in and hit run, I will get the integers 0 through 9. Please note, you didn't need this. Yeah, it starts counting at 0. How does it know?
I mean, how would you, if you wanted to start at like 2?
Oh, it won't match with this print line.
I don't know. Maybe like that. Right, from 2 to 10? Oh, cool. Seems like it works. Neat. What the heck is this range thing about?
I guess it automatically includes itself.
Let me see if I can just... Let's see. So I'm going to unindent that block. Oops, I need a comment character. Oops. Hey, stop that. I'm going to unindent that block. I need a comment character. Comment character? Nope. So it's not double slashes. Let's see, what else might it be? Parenthesis? No. Or percent. Triple pipe? No. They grayed out on Octothorpe. That thing is called an Octothorpe. Hashtag is the comment character, right? So good frickin' luck getting Python to parse hashtags for you. It'll get really weird. So I'm just gonna try to print out this. What? Shouldn't it have printed something? Like trying to print range 2 to 10, it literally just printed that like it was a string, right? But it's pretty clearly not a string. So let me show you a really bizarre thing. Range is a variable type in Python. So I'm going to do a very bizarre thing. I'm going to demonstrate that I know something a little bit bizarre about Python, which is that there's also a variable type called list, and that you can typecast a range into a list.
Or not.
Damn it.
What was that?
Oh, yeah, so what's my problem?
It's not indented.
Yeah, see this? It's expecting end of f while unexpected e of f while parsing.
So it ended the file while still running.
Yeah, it hit the end of the file while it was still trying to do something.
You're missing a parenthesis.
Yeah, I forgot a parenthesis. You guys see that? I had the parenthesis for the range from 2 to 10, and then I had a parenthesis for the typecast, and then I forgot the one for the print. Please note, if you have another line underneath there, like print EOF would probably make the most sense, right? Like end of file. If you hit run, it'll tell you that you have a problem with the print.
What?
Because it wasn't expecting you to put a print in a print. You guys see that? So my forgotten parenthesis on this line is causing it to kick an error on the next. So this is a really common thing in lots of languages. If you do something wrong with a line, oftentimes the error you get will be on the next line. So I told you processing was hella convenient, and it is. There are little things you need to learn about other languages. Okay, so now I got a... What does this thing look like, guys?
An array.
Yeah, that looks a lot like an array.
Does it look like one as it is?
It does look like one because it is. Kind of. So if you go for array Python 3, And like maybe go in here, arrays. Oh, this is about a library. You guys don't know about libraries yet. Python arrays. Here's the statement I wanted. Note, Python does not have built-in support for arrays, but Python lists can be used instead.
What? Python doesn't have arrays?
Python 3 does not have arrays. It has lists instead. It's the difference between a list and an array?
They're totally different trademark.
What did you say, Chris?
Lists are dynamic. Change the size of them as you go.
Yeah, you can kind of do that in processing anyway. But yeah.
I mean, they are arrays
So-
in process.
A list is a little bit more like what we think of as a stack, right? Except you can get at anything in it. So a list can be resized, essentially. And the lists in processing can also be resized, or the arrays in processing can also be resized, and that's because they're kind of wobbly on actually being arrays. The text color? You mean over here? I can't. Nope, because this thing over here isn't Python. This is the server that's running on. So I don't seem to have control over what color this display is, but that's also not a thing that you would see in Python. Like, that's not part of Python, that's part of your computer. Does that make sense? Yeah, this would be on one of these computers, this would be a command prompt if you weren't running it in the web browser. So let me see maybe some more explore-y things. I'm going to stop this. Oh, no, I'm going to do one more thing. The thing I wanted to show off was a feature of dynamic typing. So I'm going to do for i's in the range of 100. I'm going to print. And there's one thing I never got to work in processing, and it was if you, it's really easy to overflow the integer variable type, right? So let me check. So what's the double star?
That's how they do exponentials?
Yeah, that's an exponential in a lot of languages. So that's 2 to the power of I, right? So if I do range of 10, I get the usual 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. Right? Processing would kick a fit if I tried, I think, this one. One of the amazing things about Python, which is hella fun, is that it don't care.
Jesus.
Yeah, if you do I to the I.
So you'll notice that these numbers look funny, right?
Yeah.
So this is one number. You guys see that? Yeah, and if you pull the window open some more, right, they'll go to being two lines. But I can't pull it open enough to get them to be one line. So this last one here is, what number is that?
What's 2 to the power of 999?
Yeah, that's 2 raised to the 999.
Almost.
Let's see if we can buffer over. Let's see if we can overflow this tank.
No, you can't. I've tried it.
I broke it.
Oh.
I did this.
Oh, well,
So this number here
it's painful.
is apparently 999 to the 999. And Python is just very happily churning away at this. Like, it took a long time. Why did it take a long time?
Because it's a big number.
Yeah, and it also calculated all the other ones before that, right? So there was a lot of math. So it took time. This is actually what keeps people from stealing your credit card online. Right? It's that math takes a long time. It's not that no one can decipher the hash. It's not that the encryption method is particularly novel. It just takes a long time to break the encryption. No, it's just that computing power is expensive.
Like it would be like
You could break the encryption on your credit card encryption software, or on the software that's used to encrypt like Amazon purchases. It is doable, but it would cost you more in electricity and computer hardware than you would net by stealing all of that stuff.
If you wanted to, for some reason, you could just brute force every credit card number and security code in the world.
Yeah, it just will take forever.
Yeah.
Is that going to make sense? Okay, so